Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Talking Wylder. I really wanted to start this series because I was excited to spotlight the incredible women in Nashville and the awesome things that they're doing. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of Talking Wylder. We, off camera, decided that instead of trying not to cuss, we're just going to try to keep it like level today. Hi. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited about this because I feel like this is legitimately the truth. This is us getting to know each other, but with cameras and microphones in our faces.
I love it.
We recently met, and my goal with Talking Wylder and all of this is to like spotlight just women doing awesome things and women supporting other women. And so I'd love for you to take it away. Tell everyone who you are, what you're doing. I know that sounds kind of broad, but don't worry.
So broad, but I'm going to do my best.
Questions. I'm going to drink my coffee and let you carry this.
Okay,
Go.
amazing. I love that intro. Thank you for that. I'm excited to just spit it real today and get to know each other as well. But my name is Tiffany, and I do spend a lot of my time working with other women and other business owners and lifting them up, and it's like a dream come true.
Which is why we initially connected, which is so fun.
I also own a PR and branding agency, so
Okay.
I started that in 2011.
How are we doing here?
You're doing amazing.
Okay.
Your branding
just checking.
is, yes.
Even
I
if
love
you have
it.
to lie.
No, it's
it's great.
fantastic. I love it.
Great.
I love it. And I've been doing that since 2011. And then, honestly, it was March of 2020, a date we will probably none too soon forget.
I know.
When I stepped in the spotlight, if you will, as being a business coach for other female founders. It was something I had been doing privately with some of my PR clients along the way. And it just came to be that it was time for me to own it and to do it publicly and to do it in a bigger way. And I've loved every minute of it. So,
and we'll link to your Instagram as well, because you offer so many good, tips and things. You're just very active on social media, which I think in that kind of business and in what, I'm doing and everything like that, you have to be like on it.
It's a phenomenal tool. And it's funny you say that because, so my business coaching is Up-Leveler Society. My PR company has had different names over the years, and really now it just goes by my name. So it's really funny you say that because I was just writing an email the other day and I was like, the thing is, when I started my PR company, I didn't use social media. I mean, it was 2011. It was a thing. I managed social media for my clients, but it was not a tool that was presented in the way that it is now.
100%.
It was really more of a personal kind of fun little app.
And I remember the bad photos. I scroll
all the
deep.
Filters. Hipstamatic. Can we drop that?
Oh, Hipstamatic. Bless
Lots
its
of
soul.
Hipstamatic filters on my feed. So I say that to just make a point that yes, it's a phenomenal tool and I definitely love it.
But we haven't always had it.
I haven't always had it, and I was able to be successful without it. So just in case it's a trigger to you, social media, just know
Yeah, and I actually it's great that you mentioned that because I actually had the same experience. So when I was on air a lot in New York and doing national shows and everything like that, yes, it existed, but it's not how I built my career.
Right.
And I developed, I was very reputable in New York in the television scene, and I moved out to LA. And I remember specifically when I would go in for interviews for jobs, them asking me how many Instagram followers I had. And I was like, I've been on the Today Show. How is my Instagram count, more important than the accomplishments that I've had? So that's just a great side note that you bring up, because I think it can be kind of triggering for people who aren't comfortable talking on camera, aren't comfortable talking into their phones and stuff. And I think there's a way that it adds value and you can grow your brand using it without it necessarily having to be your face. And I think it's just consistency on there.
Absolutely.
Daily posting, posting in Instagram stories. And I think what it really does is keeps you top of mind for people. Because I know your stories for me come up like immediately
good to
now,
know.
which is great. And so it's just nice to see. I can like watch like
Yeah.
the things that you're doing, and your branding and your posting is so valuable. I love that it's like information that anyone can take, and it's very helpful. You know, I did like a deep dive last night, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God.
Into things, and it's really cool. And I would say, like, what is your main goal with the business consulting and everything?
That's so easy. Because literally my main goal is to help just one woman not go through some of the roller coaster ups and downs that I went through and the mistakes I made building my business, without any support, without any wherewithal, without a coach or a mentor or an advisor or an investor or a CEO beside me, or, you know, any of that, like a co-founder beside me. I made a lot of mistakes over the years, and I think mistakes are valuable. Don't get me 100%, wrong.
Yeah.
But there are definitely things that I learned the hard way. And so my main goal now is to, I especially work with creative female entrepreneurs. So graphic designers, web designers, even painters, just anyone that kind of has a little bit of a creative flair to them. And the reason being is because that's me. That's who I am. And when I started out and decided to like leave my business, leave corporate America, I was working for Yamaha. I was in the music industry. I had like on the outside a dream job. Okay.
Of course. I feel like as many of us do.
Yeah. And I was traveling the world, and I was interviewing Elton John and Alicia Keys. And I mean, on the outside, it was a dream job. I will never discredit that. And the lessons I learned there were invaluable. And I started social media for them. And so, you know, there were a lot of things that I learned. But when I took the leap to go out on my own, I didn't know anything about running a business.
Yeah, I mean, it's women entrepreneurs, or just entrepreneurs in general. Like, you're going off and you're starting this thing. Like, I am terrible at accounting and finance. I am a creative person. Yeah. So for me, I call it like creative ADD almost, where I want to do all of these things, but I know things that I am not good at.
Yeah.
And I think the mistake a lot of people make is they try to be everything. And you can't.
You can't. And so, yeah, that's like the biggest mistake I think I learned, was that I jumped into it. I didn't really have a strategy or a plan. That was fine. It got me by. I've been in the green ever since I started my business. It's a blessing. It's amazing. But I still had lots of falls. I still had lots of things I had to learn the hard way. I still had some hard moments throughout the journeys. And I've run multiple businesses, so we'll save that for another day. But now I love the numbers. Yeah. And now I'm like, help.
Great. Thanks for being here. We're actually meeting about accounting. I'm going to open QuickBooks really quick.
Yeah. I mean, and so for me, like, I know this is a long-winded answer, but I just love working with other creative women who are running their business, super passionate and super talented, but maybe didn't know what they didn't know when they got started. Yeah. And if I can help them feel more confident as a businesswoman, if I can help them make more money with more ease, I get the chills. Like, that's my job.
Well, and it's great because I think like a lot of what I do, and it sounds like your goal as well, is just helping people.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, and helping people also from your past experiences, and, you know, maybe preventing them from making some of the same mistakes, or if they're going to make the mistakes, the fact that they've got somebody beside them.
Get back up.
Yeah. Because I think, you know, it's hard. There's so many of us out there that have started our own businesses. We're learning as we go. We're potentially taking on employees, growing. There's also that pain point, and you can speak on this more than me, but there's this pain point of, I need to hire some more people because I'm growing at a rate, but also that's kind of scary because maybe financially you're not where you want to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I run into that a lot where it's like, my income is fully dependent on other people. And I mean that as clients. It's client based. So there's not a company, there's not a massive company paying my salary. Like if I don't work, I'm not getting paid. If I take a vacation, I am not working and I am not making money. So there's something to that where it's like, if I had somebody that could help me financially plan, that could help me with like the more, you know, difficult things that don't necessarily make sense to me in my creative head, like just a coach of that kind. So I think what you're providing for people is incredibly valuable. What's one of the biggest mistakes that you see people make when they're starting their own business?
It has to be just not having an understanding of how to play with your numbers. I call it play with your numbers because I think it's an important little like twist on it. That's it. In a nutshell, that's it. I see time and time again women who
finances,
are talented and busy, so they're getting clients or they're getting, customers. But when I look at the back end and I look at the profit margins, it's sad.
Yeah.
And it's simply because they just kind of like started running, and I get it. I did it too. Just start running and like, oh yeah, do this. Oh yeah, I can do this. Oh yeah, it'll be $500, no problem. Oh yeah, we'll do that too. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm working 24/7. I haven't taken care of myself. I don't go to yoga anymore. I don't know the last time I cooked myself a meal. I haven't taken a full lunch break in ages. My friends ask me to go out with them. I say no. And it's all because we didn't sit down and look at the numbers and say, something's not adding up here. We either need to charge more, or we need to find a way for somebody else to take some of this load off your plate, or we need to restructure what you're paying a contractor to do this. Or, there's a lot of ways you can play with the numbers.
To move it around. I just had this moment recently where I have started charging more because my time is valuable. My time that I am spending working is time spent away from my home and time spent away from my daughter and my partner. And like, no.
Yeah.
And you always like, when I, especially in the line of work that I'm in with like the home services concierge, it's always going to be more work than I think it is.
Yeah.
So I need to start charging accordingly. I have yet to do a job where I'm like, gosh, that was less work than I thought. Like, it's always so much more than I thought. So that's just great to hear, because it's like, I think also, women have a problem with charging what they're worth. And we just have, we need to be like a bit more ballsy about like asking for more money and walking away from something, because I would find too, 9 times out of 10, when I charge more than I think that I should, people don't say no.
No. In fact, they probably value you more.
Right. And they look at it. And also there's less resentment that comes if you feel like you're being paid what you should. That means I will go above and beyond for someone regardless, but it just feels better.
It's a win-win. I say that all the time. If you go up to what you really deserve and want to be making, and the client says yes because they see the value in what you're going to provide, it is a win-win. They're going to get more out of you. You're going to feel happier doing it. What's wrong with that scenario?
I know. I think we have just such a fear of like being told no or losing a client, when really it's like, if you're not charging the true value of your time, you're losing anyways.
Yeah.
And you don't have the space to take on, someone who might actually pay you what you deserve and what you're worth. So it's just interesting to hear, because these are all thoughts that have been in my head in starting a business. And it's just learning how to ask for help and how to delegate. So again, I think just what you're providing is so valuable for people. And we're running not short on time, but we're getting towards the end of our time. And I'd love to have you back on, because I'd love to just chat about things like tips for starting your own business. But if you do have like one thing that you can leave us with.
Ooh, one thing.
I know. I'm like,
that's the hardest part.
I'm like, we can have 16 drinks here, but I need one tip.
Okay. If I had to leave you with one tip, it would be this. And this is like a big overarching theme that has a lot to go underneath it, but bear with me here. My one tip would be this: as a business owner, as someone who's decided you're going to go out and chase those dreams, your skill set and what you bring to the table is great. We'll get you to a certain point, but you need to be dedicated to the personal growth along the way.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, what we were just discussing, is a fear reaction. Like
correct.
Fear of not being accepted, fear of hearing no. I use the analogy oftentimes with relationships, actually. Like when we're in the wrong relationship, we can't be available for the right relationship, right? It's the same thing with your clients, okay? So the personal growth part of the story is what no one told me about. And it's one of those things that I didn't really start to work on until, 2007, 17, 6 years into my entrepreneurial journey. And it was a game changer for me, like really investing in my mental health and my mindset around money, around worth, around self-care, around all of it. Like it's as essential as a business owner to everything else that you're going to learn.
And we have to have you back on because I want to hear more. Selfishly, I want to hear more business tips. So thank you guys so much for joining us this week. And we will see you next week on Talking Wylder.